Hello and welcome back to my channel. Yesterday was the Amstel Gold race and I sadly missed this race because I was at my brother's for the holidays, but because I'm a little bit late, I decided I wouldn't do a classic recap videos like I did for the past few races, but instead I do kind of an analysis of how the race unfolded. I read through some interviews after the race, what riders had to say about their placing, how the race went, and kind of give my comments to that, other than just saying what happened during the race. Because, yeah, well, I am late with this video, so we all know how the race unfolded. We know who won the race, we know who is in the top 10 and whatnot. By now, we all know that Van der Poel won this race in a crazy fashion. He was my pre-race favorite. He was the first to attack of the favorites, even though then later on Alaphilippe and Fuglsang got a gap. I also said that it would be up to Astana to decide how the race unfolds, which it did because they really upped the tempo and they reeled in the breakaway by themselves basically. But yeah, Vogelsang and Alaphilippe had quite a good gap until a few kilometers to the finish line, and well, they fucked it up, to be quite honest. There is no other way of saying it. If they would have worked together straight to the finish line, they would have won, and that is, yeah, well, Vogelsang stopped working with, I think, 3 or 4 kilometers to go, which was bad for him because, like we've seen in the sprint, he was actually today faster than Alaphilippe, which Alaphilippe has fading form. He had his peak for Sanremo, Strade Bianche, and Tirreno Adriatico, so those 3 Italian races. Alaphilippe does not seem to be in his best shape. Even Fuglsang beat him in a sprint at the end. So there was no point in him stopping to work. And Alaphilippe was also playing around, so I'm not giving the blame for one rider in particular. They both did wrong in that final stretch after the final climb, after the final hill. So they got caught by Kwiatkowski, but he was dead by then. That was not the problem. But they were still playing around, and the group of Van der Poel caught them. And that guy he's just so strong at the moment. He overtook them and sprinted to victory. So great race by him, but it wouldn't have been possible if the other two didn't play cat and mouse for 6-7 kilometers after the final climb. And yeah, well, so Alaphilippe said after the race that he thinks he did the right thing, which is questionable at best, because, well, the tactics he used today worked before. He did not work in the group that won Sanremo. He did not work with Fuglsang in Strade Bianche when he won. So he rode the same way, but today he got caught by a faster sprinter to the line because he waited, because he did not work. And that's a problem of Alaphilippe, in my opinion. That he relies on his sprint, he relies on others to work for him, other than, for example, Greg van Avermaet or Peter Sagan, who do the chasing from the front. They pull hard in their groups. Alaphilippe is someone who likes to sit on and thinks he can beat everyone in a dash to the line, but Van der Poel has shown him twice within a week that is not the case, because the Dutchman is just faster than him. But Vogelsang on the other hand, and I like that, he said he got third, which he is initially happy about, but he thought he could have done better. And that's true, because if he would have worked with Alaphilippe, if both worked, they would have at least gotten second, Or, like we've seen in the sprint, Vogelsang actually beat Alaphilippe in the sprint, so maybe he would have even won the race if they worked together for like a few more kilometers, because they were caught right to the line. So yeah, if they would have worked together, there would be no victory of Van der Poel, I'm sure of that. I'm not diminishing the race Van der Poel did. He did a great race and he's a deserving victor. But the other two guys in the front made it very easy for him. So then we also had Simon Clark, who ended up second actually. A really good race result for him, but also for Education First. And I have to say, the team of Jonathan Waters did a 180 basically over the last year, because in 2017, 18 they were nowhere to be seen, and now they have like 4, 5, 6 riders who get good results. Just to mention, Simon Clark is getting his results now, Van Mark has some decent results, Danny Martinez got second in Paris-Nice. Then we had the actual victory of the Tour of Flanders of Alberto Bettiol. So this team, at the moment, they get some really nice results, even have a monument victory this season. Education First, the team to look out for this season. Great result by Clark, because, well, he chose to stay on the right wheel, and like he said in the post-race interview, he was very happy about this result, as he even said it's one of his career bests. And yeah, he can be happy about that result, but the guys he overtook, Alaphilippe and Vogelsang, they can't be happy really about their results. Then we had Kwiatkowski, who was the first to join the duo up front, but then finished last inside the group of those who caught them, because he was just finished from his long efforts. But I also did not like Kwiatkowski's response. I read through his interview on the Sky website, and he said what we usually hear from Greg Van Avermaet, who always, when he loses, says that I had the legs, I was just badly positioned. But yeah, that's also your own fault. So usually Kwiatkowski, I think of him as one of the smartest riders in the peloton. But if you are not well positioned inside the final 50 kilometers of such a race, then you don't deserve to take victory. He had good legs, but yeah, positioning on the climbs or before the climbs is also part of the job, and you have to do well in that department to actually finish a race off. It's not enough to just have the best legs. Sometimes it works out if you're Van der Poel, but Kwiatkowski is rarely the guy with the best legs. Most of his victories came when he was outsmarting people. Yes, he was not, how to say it? He was not weaker by far, but he was that much smarter than the opponents. For example, his victory in the World Championships, when he attacked on the descent while everybody was only watching themselves who would attack on the climbs and not the descents. That was a very smart move. Or when he won the race, Milan-Sanremo, when he won Sanremo, he gave Sagan a little bit of room to stay in his slipstream, and then overtook him inside the final meters. Or the other way around, when he outsmarted Sagan again in E3, that was when Kwiatkowski actually attacked with like 400 meters to go, so opened his sprint, and Sagan was caught by surprise by that. So all those 3 victories came when he was not the strongest, but the smartest. Where he was the strongest, actually, funny enough, was his previous victory at the Amstel Gold Race, where in a long sprint he overtook, I think, a group of 10 guys inside the final 500 meters. He came from way back, finished a stunning sprint that year. But yeah, usually Kwiatkowski is a smarter rider than that. Today, he had the legs probably, but not the smarts on a day, which is rare for him. Then I have also listed Maximilian Schachmann, and I liked his interview that he gave on his team website because he was not happy about the decisions he made during the race. It was his best career result at Amstel Gold Race, getting 5th in the end, but he was still not happy because he said it was a mistake going in solo pursuit for 15 kilometers of Vogelsang and Alaphilippe, and I like that. I like the response that even though it is the best result you've ever gotten at a race, you're still not happy about it. You still think immediately after the race, I could have done better. That bodes well for the future, because if Schachmann acknowledges that he could have done better, other than Alaphilippe, then he will work on that. He will try to understand the races more, not rely on his own strength, but try to read a race as well, which could also give you a benefit in the future. So I really like the response of Maximilian Schachmann that even though your result is good, you could have been even better. And he said on Bora Hansgrohe's website that if he did not do that solo chase for 15 kilometers, maybe he would have had the energy left to sprint to maybe 2nd or 3rd. He said Van der Poel wasn't beatable in that sprint, but the other guys he thinks he could have overtaken with more caution if he would have waited for the other chasers to help him. So yeah, he's a guy to look out for in the future races of the Ardennes as well. And then lastly, I want to mention the 2 youngsters in the top 10, Madouas and Lambrecht, both only 22. And they are the future. They get some really nice results this season, and I can't wait to see more of them. Lambrecht even said on the website of Lotto Soudal that he had to break in the final sprint because he was a little bit boxed in. So that took his chances of getting maybe a 5th place, he said. He finished 6th, I think, and Madouas 8th. If I remember that correctly on the top of my head. But yeah, really great results by those two because it was a very hard race. It was not just a sprint to the line, it was a hardly ridden race. The race exploded when Ostana really pulled. And these two stayed with the best, and we'll have to see what they can do for the rest of the Ardennes. Lotto have an interesting team with Tim Wellens, with Lambrecht, but they also have Van Endert, who was really good at Flèche Wallonne and Liège-Bastogne-Liège the last few seasons. So they have options. I don't know if Lambrecht will get a free roll or if he will have to work for the other two, but Madouas should be the go-to guy for Groupama because they don't have that many other options, at least no one that is clearly better than him. While at Lotto, Lambrecht might be the future, but Van Endert still gets some good results in his later days of his career, so he's not done quite yet. We have to see about that one. Sadly, for the cycling world, or the road cycling world, let's say it that way, we won't see Van der Poel on the road anymore this season. He said he's done. At least that's what he said recently, because he wants to focus on his mountain bike season now. He wants to do well in the Mountain Bike World Cup, also wants to ride the Olympics soon on his mountain bike. So yeah, Van der Poel won't ride the other 2 Ardennes Classics. That means we'll have a different set of favorites for those races. He won't be at the top of that list anymore. but that is a video for another day. That's it for me for now. I'm out.